We can always go back. I think if this is stuff you want to talk about too in the podcast, we can like leave it to that, because I went through it, like maybe talk about it a little bit. Like I was lost, undeclared major, and then like video like found its way, and then like the whole Gary Vee thing, and then my career is like my life's been like bigger than my dreams. So it's like I think it'd be cool to like just unpack like what you got going on, and then I'll talk a little bit too. So cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll start. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 28th episode of the PokéSells Official Podcast. My name is Rocco Mitchell, and I'm your host. And today I'm here with someone that you might know, but you probably know the other people that he has held the camera for, Jason Morena. And if you could just mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, dude, Rocco, thank you for having me. It's crazy how we met. We were in, I don't even know what part of Tennessee, but we bumped into each other. I was filming for Gary. Yeah, so I'm a filmmaker at heart, but more leaning into the brand strategy these days. And yeah, I grew up in New York. I'm I've been all sorts of things. I was a State Farm agent at one time. First job was McDonald's, but the past decade I started shooting video, and I really got in shooting video right when like long form vlogs on YouTube were working. Casey's Nice Dot was like doing his vlog, and yeah, I basically started shooting them for entrepreneurs, which then landed me a awareness to Gary. Gary Vee hires me, and then I spent 5 years with him. And then the past year and a half, I worked as Mike Posner, who's like a Grammy-nominated artist. I helped him as his like head of content and like elevate his brand. So that's like the short summary, and we can unpack wherever you want.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'll go back to how we met. Was about it was about a month ago now, I think, probably, or like 3 weeks ago. There was a meet. Gary Vee was releasing his Topps Chrome collection with like the friends at Topps Chrome, and was doing kind of like a round trip type thing, like around a bunch of stores. And I saw on Facebook a post from like a very prominent shop here called Nash Cards, and they were like, "Oh, we are inviting Gary Vee to do a signing and stuff like that." And I was like, "What? This is super crazy." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I texted my mentor here in Nashville, Tony, and he was like, "Yeah, you should go there and do an interview. Like, I'll go there with you and make sure that like we do." I was like, "Sure, let's go." And so I went and I met him, and then your camera died, or not camera, but the
mic
voice,
died. Yeah,
the mic died.
Yeah, mine I bump, interrupt and say, "You probably had the best interview, the best moment with Gary." And of course, it was like 16 hours into my day, and I was using like the Teams mics, so I wasn't like familiar with them, and they just died on me during like right before your interview, and I was like, "This sucks." I'm like, "This kid's asking great questions," but luckily you came through with the Rode mic, so we were all good and got you in the episode, which was fun.
Yeah, and you reached out and you needed the footage, so I gave you the footage, and that's kind of what we did. And then I was like, "Hey, can I have you on the podcast? I would love to do that." So yeah, and today is a little different. Like I said, I usually do like Pokemon flavored podcast with people, but this is really anyone, like online money, online making, online passion pursuing, all that type of stuff. So my first question for you would be, obviously you've done like content creation, I'd say like brand scaling in a way, through a content lens. How did you begin with that?
Yeah, I think I touched on it really quickly in my intro. To bring you full, I'll bring you through the whole process, right? I'm like in school, in college, going for something completely different. It's like occupational therapy. I'm working at State Farm. I have like my insurance licenses. That was like my like just make money. And then I found myself like filming like all my like, I was road biking a lot. I was like hiking upstate New York a lot. And my aunt was like, she's like, "I want to get you a GoPro for your birthday." And I was like, "No, it's like a lot of money." I'm like, "You shouldn't do that." But she did. And so she gets me this GoPro. And yeah, that like took me off of like Microsoft Movie Maker. And now I'm in like GoPro Studios. And soon after, drones became like more accessible to like consumers. So I had like a GoPro, like DJI Phantom 3. And then like right after, like in that same period, I come home from school, my dad's watching this vlogger, Casey Neistat. I'm like, why is my dad watching a vlog? Like, that's so weird. But then I started watching. I'm like, this dude's dope. I'm like, you can document your whole life and like put it out the next day. And I got inspired and I bought the same camera, like on my credit card. I bought the Canon 80D. And so I had this like, little equipment thing going, and the passion just started like snowballing. And, I got to the point where I was able to take on freelance gigs, and I was like, oh, maybe I can make some money with this. Like, I'm doing the State Farm thing, but like that kind of sucks. Let me go do this like creative thing. I love that. And so then this, my sister tags me in this Facebook post, and it was like this guy who owns like a women's fitness kickboxing gym who's looking for a video intern. Meet up with him. It was like 2017. He's like, do you know who Gary Vee is? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, go home, watch his Daily V, and I want to do that for my gym. I want you to come in, document the gym, and like make a vlog out of it every week. And so I did that. I went home, I watched the vlog. I was like, this is dope. I'm like, I've never seen this style of content where like somebody like follows around this guy and he lives this dope life and they're flying all around. I'm like, that's sick. And then, basically through him, he brought me to Gary's office because Gary had this like consulting session. It was in like 2017. And I was like in the office. I was like, this is dope. I'm like, I would love to work here. But it was a long journey, So I basically made those vlogs for that guy, for his gym. I started making vlogs for himself because he's like an entrepreneur. You mentioned your mentor. He was my mentor, come to be. And then we productized it. It was that was a point where like, Instagram did not look like it did today. It was, if you could make like micro content with a title and some captions and maybe like a little like loading bar, like that would be epic. And we started doing that for people. And we had like a bunch of clients in New York City. And soon after, Gary kind of caught wind of my name. And there was this clip that went out on the internet. And it was basically like this guy who's like sitting at another one of those consulting sessions and was like, yeah, like my D-Rock got stolen from me, meaning his videographer got stolen from him. And that was me. And then somebody in the room who I'd met was like, yeah, Jason's dope. And so Gary's like, I want to steal Jason. And so, that was like 2 years in the making. But, 3 days later, after somebody randomly just sent me that video and was like, I think you're the Jason in this video, that's how I got hired. So it was all through sort of the vlogs in that like 2016, 2017 era of it. So that's the short story of it.
That's super cool. I love that, and how it's like full circle type moment, and kind of like you got a camera and family helped you out, and kind of like, I guess, in an agent. So what I did before doing Pokemon is for a very short time, I had like an agency where I was like doing like social media marketing and like not Instagram, like email marketing ads for people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand what you're saying, like clients, it's very similar type thing where you're getting gym clients, you're videoing for them. And like you said before, like when vlogs started becoming really popular, and how you like took advantage of that, got a camera, and then started doing it for clients. And then kind of I thought it was funny how like stealing and stuff like that, I've seen that, the videos and stuff like that, and how you're able to scale it and then get with someone as influential or as like, I guess, kind of a staple in, I think, social media marketing culture right now, as with Gary. And I think that's a super dope story. I'm happy that's crazy. Like, very, for me, not really similar for me, but like very much where like I have family. So some of my background for my family is dad's a professional musician. So like I understand like kind of like how that all that stuff works with like like taking people or like just trying to assemble crews for like shows and stuff like that. But
and even like and it was a lucky break in a way. Like I knew through hard work I was gonna make it to Gary because I was just mapping towards that. But I thought it was gonna take like 4 more years. It was like I did an immense amount of work between like the vlogs and everything, and it did piece together well. But there was a little bit of like right person, right time. And so, back to your dad being a professional musician, like it's that whole industry is like, it's that same kind of energy where it's like a lot of hard work and talent, but also like right place, right time.
Yeah.
And the good news for you, dude, is like you're I can tell like such a hard worker, and like the fact that you're like, come on my podcast, like you're gonna like, that's like a gift in a way where like you're gonna meet so many people, and then you're gonna look back when you're like my age, I'm 30, and you're gonna be like, thank God I talked to that dude Jason, and we posted the clip, and then his friend saw it, and like so you'll have that lucky moment, but it'll come through like the 1,000 conversations that you'll have between now and it. So
and that's a main reason why I started this podcast, was for like an icebreaker / outreach method for people. First person I had on this podcast is my friend Abe, and how I got bigger into the Pokemon space was I was doing stuff on eBay, faceless, like in stuff on Instagram, eBay, that type of stuff. And then in Nashville, we have a convention that happens three times a year, called the National. It's a huge sports cards and like alternate like TCG collectibles.
I've been to the one in New Jersey.
Okay, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. And I went. There was a big Pokemon presence, because how Pokemon's evolving here is there's the big sports card shows that's ran by the guys that run the National, and the Pokemon people just come in, and like we're starting to like we take half the show space now, which was a problem that I saw, and I'll get to it later, but a solution that we came up with. But long story short, went to the National. I was like, this will be a great time for me to like get some content, do some interviews, very much like I did with Gary at Nash Cards. So I went and I did it. I met Abe, and he kind of took me under his wing, and we started doing stuff. And suffice to say, long story short, now we're starting our own conventions. We've this Sunday have our third convention. We rent out, since I'm still in high school, we rent out my school gym, and we started running only Pokemon and like non-sports cards. TCG.
So other vendors, kids, parents, whatever it might be, come in, and then you guys are like posting on social and like the school groups, and you're like, we're doing this thing. Has it been like, how many have you done so far?
This Sunday is our third one.
And it's been good?
Yeah. So our first one was 55 tables, which it was like our first icebreaker one, 55 tables. Then our second one, we doubled. No, not doubled. Our first one was 55 tables. Second one was like 85 tables. And now this one's 100. This next show is 100.
That's incredible, dude. And it's like, it's a good, like, there's a lot of lessons that like community building, like is like one thing, like through that, like it's such a good skill set. So that's really cool that you're going through that now. It's like, that's hard. It's hard to pull that off.
Yeah. And we have our show scheduled out for July. And by that show should be max capacity, which is 120 vendor or tables.
That's dope.
So yeah.
And you still have like what, 2 years of high school?
One. I'm on one more. Yeah. High school.
Yeah. So you'll have like a whole year of hopefully doing it too. Like if it's like a success. So that's fun, dude. And I guess like it obviously comes with like its reward. Like I'm sure you make some sales too, and like make some money. So that's good. I love that.
It's been really great. It's definitely helped accelerate my growth with like inventory building and stuff like that. But yeah, suffice to say, that's kind of like what this podcast, I started it for, stuff like that. I've met people. I had a guy on here. His name's Goated Pulls, Arvin. He's a very big or bigger Pokemon YouTuber, and I met on here. He does crazy amounts of like on the weekly on TikTok, like live and whatnot and stuff like that, live selling streams. And he's helped me so much with everything. But that's kind of why I did this podcast, like what you're saying with like just the outreach and like give that icebreaker. So now, I have you on the podcast, and now it's like when we meet again in person, like we've had that conversation. We've been able to like talk, and it's not like as like just like, hi, my name is Rocco. Hi, my name is like, it was like we've had a conversation, we've talked.
Yeah, podcast is a good outlet for that. I've had like so many relationships like that, like were born because of a podcast. So yeah, like one I did like during COVID because couldn't leave my house. We ended up doing like, he like called me up the next year. He's like, let's do some speaking gigs. And so I was like, amazing. Like, I never hop on these things like for like anything. I don't want anything. Like I like just talking and like meeting you and like telling my story, but you never know what's gonna happen. So it's the fun part about like the internet.
Yeah, it's 100% true. Yeah, so that's kind of a little introduction to why, and all that stuff. I'll ask you. You said you had some cards, so let's.
I was gonna say like you gotta save some time. So I'm messing with them right now. I mean, you want to steer like Pokemon's your thing, so we should look at Pokemon cards, right?
Yeah, we could do Pokemon, and then I had some other questions that I want to ask.
All right.
But let's start with some Pokemon stuff.
We'll pull up my favorite one if I could find it. Oh, she's right here. We got this boy.
Yeah,
so it's a nice Charmander. It's obviously reversed. It's the first edition. She's pristine. She's a 10. Got her. Yeah, just got her during like the era like where Gary really started talking about it during COVID. I was working at the office, grinding, filming with Gary, a lot of like what you saw, and then COVID hits, and I'm just like an editor because I'm not going anywhere. And then he starts talking about these cards, and I'm back home now. I don't have any rent. I'm like, you know what? Start buying these cards. Maybe we could like flip them. And yeah, I mean, I came in at a good time for the Charmander card, or the Pokemon cards. But like then I started like making I was gambling. Like you have like a passion for this. I was strictly gambling, and I did grow up with Pokemon cards, so I did like them a lot more. But then next I'm buying PSA 10, Jaren Jackson Jr. cards, but I don't even know who that is. Because I'm just gambling. I'm like Gary saying it. I'm like, oh, Gary said it. But that's that also created a problem in the industry as far as I'm aware, because things got inflated, and I bought this probably for a lot more than it's worth now. So anyone listening to this is probably like, that kid's an idiot. But I do got some good cards in here. And the Pokemon ones are the ones that like kept me in the green. So we got the Charmander. We got the Onyx, which is fun. There's another 10. We got the Ghastly, which was a good pull. And then we'll pull up like a random one. Actually, this is a random one. It's not graded. This is like apparently, I think it's like a 1995 Top Sun card.
Yeah.
I don't think she's worth that much because she's a little dinged up and whatnot, but I did like it because it's got like little like holographicness to it. It's weird.
That's so cool.
Japanese. So yeah, there was a few grabs like that. It was fun. Like I'm just holding these until hopefully they're worth like an insane amount of money. But I do enjoy the collecting. I did a lot more during COVID when it was like just sitting around like on eBay all day.
No, that's cool. And I like what you said about I thought funny about gambling. That's kind of what that's a part to play in this. I don't cards are all downstairs, but there's been times where I've done crazy coin flips and stuff like that. And there's definitely a form of gambling and like a little bit of degeneracy on it, but it makes it fun. And yeah, with people like for example, I have a friend right now who has been overhyping a card, and because of that, in like our little local area of Nashville, the card's gone higher.
So it's inflating in the area.
Yeah, it's inflating in the area.
Is it a Pokemon card or?
Yeah, it's a Pokemon card. And yeah, it's funny. Like he's bought. I think he has 500 of them. I can.
No, so he's got like the whole supply.
Yeah.
And now, like, are you guys buying like the OG, or is it a lot of like the new like Evolution or?
So what I do right now is a lot of modern, just because it's the lowest barrier to entry, and it's the easiest for like quick flipping, which I'm doing, which is like what I'm doing. I'm starting to tap into some vintage, which I'm enjoying, but yeah, mostly just like mid-era or like modern is like something that I'm doing right now.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, the degeneracy is like when you start picking up like Mbappe rookie cards, and you're like, like I think I picked this card up for like $400, and then I'm sitting there like a week later, and it's like 3,000. It was 3,000, and I was like, I had like 3 of them. I was like, I bet you it's gonna go to $5,000, and then like no more than like 48 hours later, it was like worth like nothing, or like you know, it was like, and so I was just like, what am I doing? Like, so my. If anyone's listening out here who's like maybe not as good as I am, sell the cards if they're up. If that's your game.
Yeah.
I just don't sell.
Yeah, no, there's definitely it. Also, the crazy thing about it is how close this functions to like crypto and like stock
Right.
market stuff. Like you'll have like, for example, you have your base set PSA 10 Shadowless Charizard, right, worth about like $300,000 to $500,000 on any
Right.
given day. That's kind of like your S&P 500, if you'd say, or that's like
Yeah.
your gold bar. Like the value of that card will go up and down. Sometimes it spikes, sometimes it doesn't, but usually it's on the same trajectory. And then you have cards like, for example, right now the Moonbreon, the PSA 10 Moonbreon, which functions very similar to Bitcoin, where like it makes bull runs and then it'll crash and go down, but then it makes bull runs again.
Yeah.
And then, for example, there'll be cards like the new 151, the new Pokemon sets, or a newer Pokemon set. They had a PSA 10 Charizard in there. That it went up to like $2,000, or it went up to like $2,000, but then tanked, and now it's like around 800, 900. So like you have to be like time the markets. You have to be like consider, okay, is this set like not getting reprinted again? Is it getting reprinted? Is it, what's the supply? How many people are holding it?
If you had to guess, like if you were sitting on like the few, I have like, a dozen vintage cards. A lot of them are like PSA 10, 9s. Like, since like I'm not like would you just hold them and like just see where it goes in terms of
I would just hold them.
Yeah. Because it's almost the 30th year, right? Or so.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it is. 2020 next year's 30th year.
Yeah, but
30th
like
anniversary.
on like the 50th anniversary, they're probably gonna be like substantially like more,
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like you can't like I don't know like for sure, but like the guess like the card is only gonna get older, like it's only gonna become less and less and less popular as like cardboard deteriorates, how the supply is like low, all that type of stuff. So for me, like vintage is something that what you're sitting on is like the most stable stuff. Vintage is relatively stable because its price doesn't necessarily change, and if anything, it always goes up. Vintage is actually in a boom right now. It has been in a boom for the past like couple months, and yeah, that's what I would say is like what you're sitting on is super stable. What I was gonna say, let's see here. How do I do this again? Present. Share screen. Okay. This is the card that my friend is holding. He has.
So this is like he has like.
He has like 500 of these.
Where like maybe 2 weeks ago it might have been worth $1. Now it's worth $5.
He has been. When those first came out, they were like at like $15. But then they tanked to $3, and now they're stabling back up at like $5. But his like strat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys buy like you'll see a trend and you'll buy like a lot of them, or that's just like a unique thing that he's like?
Well, this is like a unique thing he's up to, but my friend, he has a lot more money to play with than with me, because he's made a lot more money doing this. And he started like streaming and stuff like that, so he's like making a lot of money. So he can make like more bullish plays like this. For me, if I see like I try to look at those like penny stocks in a way, those stocks that are gonna they're super cheap right now, but then have the potential to go up super high. And I have some plays of those that I'm making that they're like dollar cards right now, but within the year, based on like new sets that are printing and cards that are being printed, they should be going up in value.
I love that. Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, yeah, like I've done like the crypto thing, Doge, Shiba Inu coin. Do you tap into those worlds?
Yeah, I do. So I have crypto. I do crypto on the side a little bit too. Obviously through my parents since I'm 16. But I do have some crypto and I have some stocks. Stocks I just hold. I don't do anything with stocks right now. It's more like your S&P 500, like hedge fund type stuff. And but cryptos, yeah. Once I turn 18, I'll probably get a little bit more into it because I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like the same thing. It's gambling. It very much changes day to day. I've seen, I've done a lot of like, oh, I'm buying Shiba. And next thing you know, it's like 10x my investment. And I'm like, I should have bought a lot more of that. Or
Yeah.
I have buddies who have like, whenever it's peaking, like, $150,000 worth of Dogecoin, and we're yelling at him. We're like, dude, sell it. He's like, no, dude, it's gonna go back up again. Like, so yeah, just gotta be careful. It can become a little degenerate, as you would say.
Yeah, no, and that's I think that's what for me originally, because I'm someone that likes to I'm very risky with the plays that I make, and I like to make a lot of risky plays. And I think a lot of that stemmed from my early interest in crypto. I was into crypto when Bitcoin was like $1,000. But obviously I'm obviously not, or no, like when Bitcoin was like $3,000. And like obviously I didn't have the money at the time to buy that.
Yeah.
But just like seeing the market trends and seeing how it was going, I was like, wow, like I really like the rush that you get from seeing a stock or a coin go like 10x in the evenings. Like, what the heck? Like, it's just fun.
You're like the memes. Yeah, I was gonna say you're like the memes where it's like, why was I playing on like the the kids thing outside instead of like buying like Bitcoin or something,
Mm-hmm,
like play set. So and also I've seen it too. Like I woke up one morning and it was like Trump's dropping his like Trump coin, and I was like, it was earlier here in Europe because I'm like 6 hours ahead of Eastern, 9 hours ahead of like Pacific, and I was like, should I buy this? And I was like, nah, I don't want to like get into that. And then sure enough, like it like spiked a lot during that like first week. I don't know how it panned out long term, but yeah, it's just like, if you enjoy it, all good, but it can become a little risky.
Mm-hmm. On Trump coin, like there's people that like retired off it. It went crazy, but now I think it's more stable or like it tanked. But that's I like meme coins. Meme coins are fun. That's what. But I think that rush I brought into Pokemon, and that's why like I try to be. I'm very happy that I'm in this space because I feel like it's changed since I've been here. Like you said, like right time, right place, right time. I got into Pokemon right before the last like kind of bull run in November, so I got into Pokemon like really big in October is like when I really started doing this. The brand has been around for a year, but I'm not technically. It's been around like I'm saying like October 2025 is like when I really started. Like it was just a logo for a long time.
Yeah,
nothing
the
else with
PokéSells. You mean like your brand?
Yeah, my brand. And October, and then the bull run started in November. So I was like right there. I was able to buy a good amount, and then I've been just riding the wave ever since.
That's dope.
So
man.
it's been.
I wish you a lot of success with it, and I'm sure it'll lead to like other avenues and like more like serious like avenues, crypto stocks. Not to bash it, because I know I've met like through working with Gary, like I've like met a lot of people that like run amazing card shops, and like it's crazy to see. Like I didn't really realize how big of a market it is until COVID, and then like he started doing his collab. So my whole thing, why I met you is like I hadn't been working for Gary for the past like year and a half, but he called up like kind of like all the old filmers of him that did his vlog. I happened to be one of them, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm dropping this Topps Chrome V Friends, and like I need additional support." And so it was fun to be around it. The cards are like really cool. He's had some other ones, like these other I forgot what they weren't like Topps brand. They were like I don't even know the original ones. But the Topps ones are, I think, the coolest. So I don't. Did you look into like the other like V Friends cards?
Yeah, so they had stuff beforehand. V Friends cards. I don't know the brand exactly that they were with. And I just I was like, oh wow, like this is actually like a top script. Like this is like a really big like well-known brand that's done lots of collabing with this. And really it was just like my way to support. And like I said in my interview, like Gary like really helped me in kind of like the idea that I said were like when we were talking off camera. was like wanting to like really pursue this as a passion and stuff, like after high school and stuff like that, I really got from like what he was saying, like stuff that he was saying and things like that. And obviously I've been able to do good stuff. And I like what you said, doing like more serious for me. So the plan for me, for this at least, is like I'm an entrepreneur at heart, like a serial entrepreneur is what I want to be. Is really use this capital because PokéSells is doing really good, but then what we're doing with Grails and Glory, which is our show name, we're building it up to probably it's going to be a Collecticon competitor.
Amazing.
So, and how we're orchestrating it right now and how we're building it from the ground up, it has the opportunity to like really go global and like really do a lot of stuff. So the idea is to like combine brands and we offer shows, but also like an educational platform, like stuff like that. Like if you want to get into Pokemon reselling or trading card reselling, like here's how you do it. I don't know if you're familiar with like apps like WAP, but stuff like that. Kind of like doing like courses and stuff like that on it.
Have you recorded any content like for it? Like how do you?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah,
I have. I'm gonna do some stuff on YouTube because I've seen a good amount of success on an app called TCG Player, and I want to do like a little YouTube video on like how to do like really well, and because I was able to scale my store on TCG Player to level 4 pro seller in a month, which is like the max amount you can do. But
because I think the content play. I mean, as you know, like you got like you're already doing your interviews and stuff, which I think like you should keep doing. I think with this thing, since you have like such passion behind it and like belief in it, just adding like fuel to the fire, content is that game, the play. So like what's your like next move with it? Like how will you evolve it to be like this like global thing?
Yeah. So right now we're being based in Nashville, and like I said, after high school, like I want to do this. I want to start doing like bigger shows like the Collecticons. I want to start doing like flip show, like all the bigger like trading card shows, like popping out of the local scene. I should be doing a Collecticon at the end of this year. But for me is I've always wanted to own a trading card shop. Like that's been my dream for as long as I can remember. Like the moment I stepped into a trading card shop down here in Nashville, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I want to do this. Like at some point in my life, I want to do this. So the goal is to do, Frankensons in California?
No, I don't.
Okay. Pretty much they bought an old Costco and
they converted it into
a card shop / convention that happens every day of the week.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So let's say
it's called Frankensons.
Dope.
I have to pull it up.
Yeah, and so like pretty much you can buy like 100 by 100 foot place, for example, for however much the daily rent is, and then you can set up there and
that's great.
Do stuff like that. But the goal is to like create something very similar to that with Grails and Glory, like a main HQ home base like that, and then connect it to our shows. So our shows, how we're setting up right now is we have our main show in Nashville, but we offer franchising. So say like, hey, you want to open, unfortunately the show got canceled because of like the school that we were renting out canceled on us.
Yeah.
But for example, we had a show in Knoxville, Tennessee. That was going to happen this Saturday. And we had a guy down there that does our shows. And he was like, hey, the Pokemon scene in Knoxville is super strong. There's not shows down there. Let's bring a Grails and Glory down there. We were like, bet. We went and we talked to him. We got, the same floor plan that we did for our show here in Madison. We checked out the gym, scouted out schools, all that type of stuff. Promoted it on our Instagrams and stuff like that, and ramped it up. And unfortunately happened, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the idea, sorry, I'm diverging a lot.
No, you're good.
But the idea is to create like a main home base and then franchise it all across the US, across the world. And then like a couple of times a year, probably like 2-3 times a year, or no, I think we were thinking every 2 months or 3 months. So 4 to 6 times a year, like have like a big convention in Nashville where like we rent out like a place or something, and like just have like a Grails and Glory, like a mega convention with all our vendors from all across the world.
Flagship event.
Yeah.
That's great, dude. Yeah, I hope
that's
that like, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of hard work to get there, but I'm sure like it's your passion. It's like it's already written in a way, and like the plan will like, you know, ebb and flow. But yeah, I'm really excited for you guys. So, like, is that like with a bunch of guys, or like that's just like you're manifesting this like just yourself?
Sorry. So it is right now. It's 3 of us. Abe, who is like the main guy, the first guy I talked to. He's like, all 3 of us are founders, but he's more like CEO. I'm like CFO, and he's our friend. So it's me, Abe, and a friend Tyler. Tyler is like our CCO, or I don't know, whatever. Pretty much, it's a 3-pronged head, and we all like equally contribute to the business, equally share, plan, and all that type of stuff. And yeah, so that's
Super
kind
cool,
of
dude.
us 3 in it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking. We have, and yeah, you know, it's gonna be a lot of hard work, but we obviously like manifesting. I'm sure you know all that type of stuff. But this show we had our first sponsor. We have our first sponsor for this show. We've been like, the rate that we've been growing at has been crazy because the need here, at least in Nashville, has been so like wanted. Like people were like, we need like a Pokemon only show. We're like, we got you. Let's make it. We saw the need, so we just did it. Yeah, that's kind of the plan for that.
So this is like, this one's like first sponsor, meaning like, is it like in the card world, or is it like it's just like a brand in town?
So
like down to sport.
So they're called Cardflow, and they're pretty much a rising competitor to TCG Player.
Oh, dope. That's amazing.
So, yeah.
I think it's like through like even like the relationship there, like the sponsorship's dope, but like just even getting to know them and like God forbid their, you know, product as well, like it's just good for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we were talking about with this is like, hey, our end goal is to be like a 4 vendors by vendor event, and then also offer, like we said, the education platform, offer stuff like that. And we're like, this opportunity, like we're a brand that's probably going to grow really big, and that's going to be a competitor to Collecticon. Why not partner with a brand that's going to combat with the biggest online like singles trading card thing, and then we'll combine, or maybe we buy them out and integrate their systems into our umbrella business.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea for that.
Super dope, dude. I can see the serial entrepreneur in you, dude. It's coming out.
Yeah, thank you. And last thing is like grow Pokemon, do this really well, vertically, and then stretch into like, I love fitness, gym, all that type of stuff. So like open my own gyms, restaurants, just other brick and mortar. So just whatever I want to do.
I'm looking forward to talking in 20 years, and it's all happening, and you're 20 times more ripped, and so am I, because I'm more of a cardio guy. Like I'm training for a marathon, which is all good and fine. I've always been a runner, but yeah, always trying to make a commitment to the gym, because it's important. It's hard though.
No, it's hard, but it's worth it, man. Like I used to be the amount, like another thing that progress is like, where I was like 2 years ago was nothing compared, or like where I was in 8th grade, or even before that was like not anywhere near where I am now. And I'm very happy. My mind is healthier. My body's healthier. My bank account's healthier. You know, dreams are healthier. So all that stuff is really great. Yeah.
As long as you stay focused on, you know, these dreams, dude, and have a little fun too, you know, don't get carried away. You know, like I don't regret anything. Like obviously everything pans out for a reason, and you know, but you know, 20s definitely beats you up. You know, who I was when I was 16, way different than when I was even 18, and 21 is different, you know, legal, you know, drinking age. So it's just like, you know, it changes up, but you know, I'm ancient compared to you. 30 is it's hard to even say that number. It's insane to think about, because I was like 16 about like 4 seconds ago. But yeah, you're like, I wouldn't like overthink or stress, because as much as I was like actively thinking about my future and like what I was going to do, I don't think it was to the extent that, you know, you are, or maybe even like your generation is. And so, yeah, if you feel those like anxious tendencies popping up, don't worry, because like, you got so much like as Gary Vee would say, you have time, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I know we're almost out. I know you said you had to
Yeah,
go.
we got like if we could run another 10, I just have to hop off at the half-hour mark.
Cool. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a couple questions.
Yeah, of course.
Questions before this is obviously you're someone who has been connected to and in contact with like really high thinking entrepreneurs, individuals. And I know for me, so for example, I have a friend named Tony. He owns multiple businesses like worldwide and in Nashville and all that type of stuff. And like as iron sharpens iron, what would be like, how has been with those like high thinking, like high rank, no, I don't want to say high ranking, but high thinking, high mindset individuals. How has that like changed your life, and like how has that helped you, and what's like your recommendation to people that want to get there?
Yeah. So if I'm hearing it right, the question's sort of like, I've spent some time with Gary Vee, Mike Posner, other successful people, maybe not as like as high ranked as you would say. You're asking, being around them, like, what shedded from them, like what did I like absorb from those experiences that shaped me? Yeah, I would say like, my most recent venture was head of content for Mike Posner, and it was a big deal for me. I always wanted to work for an artist, and it was a lot of nerves. And I did realize like two things. One, Mike is like a naturally talented singer-songwriter. That's why he's had like all these like hits. He's written for like Justin Bieber and all this stuff. And that definitely came natural, but it also came through like I was gonna say, like the other part of him is like he's just a normal dude. Like he's a 37-year-old guy, but he's put in like a lot of hard work. And he's been consistently doing it since he was like a young kid. So like one thing I just noticed there is just like it was similar to like his story. When he was in college, his good friend was Big Sean, and Big Sean blew up before him. And when Big Sean blew up, it made Mike realize that like he could do it too. And so just being around Mike, I got like a little bit of that energy where I'm like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. And I don't want to be like a pop star or do the things that he does, but I'm like, oh, like it might take me a little bit longer. He was in an industry where you can blow up, at the age of 20, and I have a pop song, like hit song. So it's gonna be a different career for me. But I'm like, I noticed that. And same thing with Gary, like exceptional dude, obviously, like serial entrepreneur, author, like runs the gamut and is just incredible at all things, especially being a leader. Like I think you've probably seen in content, but I'll give him his flowers here. He's just an incredible boss. To manage 2,000 to 3,000 employees is just like, I don't even know how that works. But working with him, I mean, gosh, there's so many things that like rub off, but it's just that you gotta like it sounds like corny and like basic, but it's like hard work matters, reps matter. And so just because he has a bunch of money or a little bit of talent doesn't really mean anything if you're not putting in the work. And so, yeah, it keeps me grounded, keeps me like I've, look back like 9 years ago, I was like much worse videographer, marketer person. But the only way to get there is like I learned through these guys, just reps.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I agree with that 100%, like putting in the hard work, putting in all that stuff. And what I was going to say that I agree 100% with you is that everyone's just human. Like that's something that I really like realized through doing this, especially as a podcast. Like for example, like I talked to my friend Go to Pulse Arvin. He was like one of my like idols in the Pokemon space.
He's just a dude.
And then I got him on the flyer or the podcast, and I was like, oh wow, this kid, like I'm stuttering, I was stuttering, I was like nervous. I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, I'm a little nervous. He's like, don't worry, bro. Like he's like, don't worry, I'm just a normal guy. I was like, wow, like that's crazy. And now that like I can consider him my friend in the space, it's like awesome. But that's
a great point, dude. To jump off of it, because I was the same thing. Like when I got hired at Gary's, like I'm like walking around the office talking to people, I'm stuttering. Like Gary's like, I'm in the room with him or traveling with him, and he's like, "What's going on, Jason?" I'm like, I don't know. It's like you're nervous, but then I just realized he's a normal person. I actually brought so on my last trip, he wasn't there in Nashville, but I went to New York first. I brought this kid that he's from Sweden. He's working with me. He's 18. He's like a young hustler kid, and I was like, come to New York. We're gonna go to Gary's office, and he was like mind blown. And I told him, like, when we got to New York, I'm like, everyone you're gonna meet is super dope and really good at what they do. Like, but you don't have to like over do their accomplishments or like think they're like high and mighty. I'm like, they're just like me or like anyone else, like you, like you're gonna be one person. So it's fun learning that. And you're definitely learning it younger than I did.
Oversimplify it is usually how I enjoy it. I know you have to go in 5 minutes. My last question, and then where can people find you, all that stuff, is what we've talked about, all this stuff you said, like oversimplifying and talking to kids. What would be your one piece of advice for people that want to start, videoing, doing side hustling, all that type of stuff? And then where can people find you?
Yeah. So if you're like a creative or if you like want to start flipping or like you're just kind of like at the beginning of your journey, there's like a lot of like the more corny ways I can navigate this advice, right? It's like, lean more into your passion. Like if you like shooting content, but that doesn't feel like it's going to make you as much money right now, and so you like are doing the card flipping, I would divide your time a little bit. I wouldn't like just do the card flipping because it's making you money. I would like navigate the content world, because for me, I've definitely, especially the beginning, walked away from a lot of gigs that could have paid me a lot more money, but I knew that hanging with the guy that owned the gym, that it was probably the right decision because it might navigate me towards Gary or somewhere in that world, and it did. And so definitely. So that like advice there is like lean into the actual passion. And then I'd also say don't have like imposter syndrome, which is easier said than done, but I'll speak from watching it. A lot of people aren't actually as good as they seem. They're just better at communicating and relationship building. And so, it's very important to like work in your craft. Like I'm always like trying to figure out like how to become a better filmmaker, marketer, brand strategist, but I'm also trying to like be a better person and like learn how to like, communicate my, the thoughts in my head better. And I think I've noticed that I'm like, oh, that kid doesn't even film that good, but he's really good at communicating. And so that's why he's getting further in his craft. So it's like this duality that I think helps when you're like just starting, is like, oh, like half of it's just like actually caring about the person you're filming for or whatever it might entail. So yeah, that's gotten me a long way. It's like actually just like genuinely caring. So
cool. That's awesome.
Thanks, bro.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I agree with that. It's all how you communicate, how you articulate stuff. You might not be the best thing, but if you're just something I've also realized, if you're just like authentic and stuff like that. I have a reel that is going to go up after this. About, it's a new challenge that I'm starting. I'm trying to flip a pair of Jordan 4s into a Rolex. So
amazing. So you'll keep it like the Jordan 4s, then you'll get something else, and get something else, and so forth. That's dope. Yeah. I've seen someone like, I don't know where, but it was like from like a penny to something. I don't know if it's a viral video or something. But.
So that's similar to that. But like, it's not the best video, but I'm getting out there, made my mission clear. I'm like, hey, if you guys got something, hit me up. Let's work. Let's do something fun.
How much are Jordan 4s worth?
The ones that I'm doing is $250.
$250. All right.
So I'm trying to trade it up into like a $300 thing.
And then like and a Rolex is what? Like
it's like
20 grand.
It's
10K.
Like
10K. Yeah. And then you'll be balling. You're gonna like, are you gonna flip the watch or are you gonna like wear it?
No, I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah.
I should be buying a car off Pokemon stuff next month.
Hell yeah.
So
I love that, dude. I don't
necessarily need to flip the watch into anything crazy.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like really get back into like the 16-year-old mindset, but like just you saying I'm buying a car like brought me back to like that era of my life. And yeah, like I was, dude, like my first job was McDonald's. I'm making $6.90 after tax, And then after that, like a year later, probably your age, I was working as like a not a busboy, making a little bit more. And yeah, I struggled to buy a car. And so I wish it wasn't like really as big a thing, flipping and like selling. The internet didn't really work like that. It was like just like Facebook and like Snapchat and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool that you are in the position to be able to do that, because I don't know, maybe I could have, but it was just like a different world. And so yeah, keep pushing, dude. That's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm inspired by that, because it's like I know how it is to like have nothing and then just like the ability to generate money is a gift. So keep honing that craft, dude.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that. And yeah, just young hustler mentality. Gotta go after it. It's 30.
Yeah, all good. I can like run it. We gotta run like extra minute. All good.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask, like, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I don't know when this is gonna get posted, but
this will get posted tomorrow, probably.
Oh, you're gonna post it tomorrow? Then you can just go like my name at the bottom. You type that into Instagram. That's like my main place. Like if you DM me, I'll say what's up. But I'm also launching a brand. It's called steeljason.com, and it's like the homage to like the video I was talking about earlier. And that'll be like my. It's gonna be like a brand strategy consultancy and also like a creative director for hire. So if anyone's listening and they're like, I need some help with like content or a brand initiative, that's going to be my thing for the next 90 years.
Cool. That's sick. No, I love that. And we might need to hit you up for Grails and Glory. Yeah,
dude, let me know. I'm happy to help. Like, yeah, I'm always like, yeah, it's my passion. So let me know, dude.
That's super sick. Well, thank you for coming on, Jason. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you everyone who came on, whether you're watching it morning, night, evening, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the 28th episode. Hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Amazing stuff, dude.
Thank you.